Here in northern Ghana, something really special is happening. It's a quiet revolution, you could say, and it's being powered by an ancient grain and, more importantly, by the vision of local communities. This is our story, the story of the Fonio Alliance, and we're so excited to share how we're building a more resilient future, literally from the ground up. You know, this is the question that gets us up in the morning. How do we build a future where people and the planet can both win? For the communities we work with, this isn't some abstract idea. It's an urgent, everyday challenge. And all of our work, every single project, is dedicated to finding real, powerful answers right here on the ground.
So let's start with our mission. This is our why. It's the core belief that fuels our entire team and our amazing partners every single day.
We were created to tackle a few really big, interconnected problems head-on. In northern Ghana, communities are dealing with increasingly unpredictable rainfall and soil that's losing its fertility. As you can imagine, this puts huge pressure on food supplies, on incomes, and on the environment itself. We knew a new approach was desperately needed. At the heart of everything we do is one simple but incredibly powerful belief. We're convinced that real, lasting change doesn't come from the outside in. No, it has to come from empowering the people on the ground, the smallholder farmers, and especially the women and youth who are the true guardians of the land.
And we don't just talk about it, we live it. Our whole approach is guided by three core principles. First, everything we do is community-driven. That means local voices and traditional knowledge shape every single project. Second, it's youth-led. We're all about harnessing the energy and fresh ideas of the next generation. And finally, we have a laser focus on women, because they're not only hit hardest by climate change, they're also some of the most powerful agents for change.
Okay, so you know our why, but what about the how? How exactly do we bring nature and community together to build this resilient future we're talking about?
Our entire strategy stands on three interconnected pillars. Think of it like a three-legged stool. We've got the revival of an incredible indigenous grain, Fonio. We have a farming method called agroecology, and we are actively restoring the land. Now, the key thing to remember is that none of these work in a vacuum. Their real power comes from how they all work together. So why Fonio? I mean, of all the grains out there, why this one? Well, honestly, it is a total game changer for climate resilience. Just look at this comparison. While a lot of modern crops really struggle in tough conditions, Fonio absolutely thrives. It can handle drought, it grows in poor soil, and get this, it's ready to harvest in just 6 to 8 weeks. For a farmer who's facing a totally unpredictable rainy season, that speed can be the difference between having a harvest and having nothing.
Our second pillar is agroecology, and that's really just a way of saying we farm with nature, not against it. We use practices like intercropping and building up organic matter to help farmers create healthier soil, protect biodiversity, and rely less on expensive and often harmful chemical inputs. It's a system that actually gets stronger and more resilient over time.
And that brings us to our third focus, land restoration. This is all about transforming what seems like a liability into a thriving asset. We work with communities to take degraded, sometimes abandoned land and turn it back into a productive, shared resource. This isn't just about planting trees either. It's about rebuilding an entire ecosystem that can support families for generations to come.
All right, so we've covered the mission and the method. Now let's get to the really exciting part, the what. Let's look at the actual projects where all these ideas come to life.
This little table gives you a quick snapshot. We have three main initiatives. There's Feed, which is all about the Fonio value chain. There's Seed, which connects land restoration to real economic opportunities. And then there's EcoHub, which is our tech and innovation platform. Let's dive a little deeper into each one.
Our flagship project is called Feed, and it's a really complete model that supports farmers through the entire journey. We don't just help them grow more Fonio, we also work on making the processing easier, adding value to the grain, and, this part is so important, connecting them to reliable markets. This makes sure that all their hard work actually translates into a better income.
Next up is our Seed project. This is where environmental recovery and economic resilience really meet. Through Seed, communities are reclaiming degraded land using things like agroforestry and regenerative farming. And staying true to our principles, women and youth are right at the center of it all, leading things like tree nurseries and new businesses based on what they grow. And finally, we have EcoHub. Think of this as our innovation engine. We use digital tools, field data, even AI to make smarter decisions and track our impact. But what's so cool about EcoHub is that it lets us blend priceless traditional knowledge with modern technology. It makes our work way more effective, transparent, and ready to scale.
So we're doing all this stuff on the ground, but what's the result? What does it actually change for people? Let's talk about the real-world impact of our work and how you can become a part of this story.
First and foremost, our work helps families build stronger, more stable incomes. By creating these climate-resilient value chains, we help make sure farmers can get a good harvest even when the weather is tough. That means more food for their families and a reliable product to sell at the market.
Now, this is an impact we are incredibly proud of. It's about reducing the huge, back-breaking labor burden on women. Processing fonio the traditional way is unbelievably difficult. By introducing better methods and shared tools, we save women countless hours of physical work. This frees up their time for other businesses or to take on leadership roles in their communities. It's a total game changer.
And of course, there's the environmental impact. Through our work in agroecology and regenerative agriculture, communities are literally bringing the land back to life. Land that was once considered worthless is now supporting crops, helping the water cycle, and making the entire local ecosystem stronger.
And this is where you come in. Seriously, the challenges are huge, and we absolutely can't do this alone. You can partner with us to help scale this work, you can directly support farmers with the tools and training they need, or you can invest in building these amazing local food systems that are good for people and good for the planet.
We want to leave you with this one big question to think about. What happens when we stop looking for top-down solutions and instead invest in local answers to global problems? Our work shows that when you empower local communities to solve their own challenges, the impact is just profound. It's a model for creating real, sustainable change that can ripple outwards, helping us tackle some of the biggest issues we all face today.
If any of this sparked your interest, if you'd like to learn more, partner with us, or support our work in any way, please get in touch. You can find all of our details right here on the screen. Thank you so much for your time and for listening to our story.